I like you, Lisa.
I like you, Andrew.
For it is Are You Being Served? The old order changes.
Yes.
And we've got a new camera angle, haven't we? Mainly because Rose is sitting there.
Yes.
So
And she looks cute.
she'll probably get off in a minute.
Yes.
But starting off with Mr. Humphreys and Mr. Lucas.
Mr. Lucas.
Mr. Lucas is having a fag
He is.
all through this scene.
Which you wouldn't be allowed to do now because you can't smoke inside.
And Mr. Humphreys has been to the doctors.
Yes.
Who says that 2 out of 10 people are just like him.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently he's under great strain because of his superior intelligence.
He is, yes.
Have we seen much evidence for this?
Not really.
Not really, but they thought about putting him to sleep for a whole week, but he can't afford the time off.
No.
Where's this come from?
I have no idea.
You can't put somebody to sleep for a whole week. Oh, Rose is getting off.
Oh, Rose, bye.
No, didn't like being on there. Okay, never mind.
Bye-bye.
But the best they can offer him is a cold shower and a run, isn't it?
Yes.
And so he had his cold shower. He went for a run, and when he got to the road mending gang, he was under great strain.
Yeah. In his little shorts.
Yeah.
Do you have those little PE shorts that are really short?
Well, you can fall out of them.
Yes.
I don't know.
Perhaps that's why he was under strain.
Captain Peacock appears.
Yes.
And Mr. Lucas gets rid of the smoke by sort of blowing it into the mouth of a sort of display sort of
unit dummy
head thing. And the smoke comes out of it.
Yes.
And it's, as you said, it's far too much smoke for
the amount you put in there.
For the amount you would have in your mouth.
Yes. And yeah, because Captain Peacock says that if he catches anybody smoking, they'll be in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So see me later. But yeah, Captain Peacock's in a bit of a mood all through this episode.
Because he couldn't get his carnation at the flower store.
Yeah.
They ran out.
Apparently he's in the Grace Brothers table tennis team. But he couldn't get his carnation.
No.
And the best they could offer him was a dahlia. Miss Brown sneaks in trying to hide herself under an umbrella.
Yes, but she's got a coat on and it's quite obvious
who it is.
Yeah.
But she's got to be reprimanded by
Mrs.
Slocum.
Who will pass it on to Captain Peacock if she wishes to.
Yeah, because they've got to follow correct procedure.
Yes.
Apparently she's wearing a padded bra.
Yes.
Which is inflammatory.
Yes. Her chest is, it's quite impressive.
Well, Mrs. Slocum describes it as the hunch front of Notre Dame.
Yes.
But yeah, she was late because she was ironing a nylon blouse or something.
And she put the iron on 10 and it went straight through. Well, what if you put it that high?
Yeah, so she had to go buy a new one because she's not buying anything here because it's all rubbish.
Yeah.
And she sort of says about how Mrs. Slocum's underwear is like cheap.
Yes, with labels sewn in.
So we get this thing where Mrs. Slocum accuses her of knocking her knickers.
Yes.
And because she's taken the padded bra, Miss Brum says, "Well, stop nicking my knockers."
Yes. That's a very 70s word, isn't it?
Knockers.
Knockers.
You don't hear it enough these days.
You don't hear it at all these days. Not in that context.
Well, of course, when you say knockers, and later on we'll get to it, I think of Simon Groom as well.
Yes.
But Miss Brahms has got 6 frills on, hasn't she?
She has.
On her chest.
On her blouse.
And she's been here 4 years, and she ought to know that juniors are not allowed as many frills.
More frills.
Or more frills than
seniors.
And Mrs. Slocum's got 6.
Yes. So Mrs. Brahm should
only have 2. And Mrs. Slocum points out, until she was 30, she wasn't allowed any frills at all.
Yes.
And Miss Brahm says, I suppose after 30 it was too late, so she's told to cut 4 off immediately. Then Mrs. Slocum wants to talk to Captain Peacock.
Yeah, because she refuses, doesn't she?
Yeah. But she's told about the correct procedure, which is to raise your hand from behind the counter, and if he sees her, he will beckon, and then she should approach. So they go through this rigmarole of...
And he ignores it the
He deliberately looks at a display instead, but eventually she attracts his attention. Are you free, Captain Peacock? I'm going to see Mr. Rumbold, so
Yeah, so
it'll
get
waste the time.
stuffed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Granger says, "Good morning, Mrs. Slocum," and she tells him to drop dead.
Yes.
But in Mr. Rumbold's office, there's the inevitable meeting.
Yes, in confusion.
Where confusion over knickers and knockers, because Mr. Rumbold thinks that Miss Brahms was wearing door knockers under her blouse, and Mrs. Slocum's complaining that she doesn't get as many thrills as Miss Brahms, and so on. What was it? Captain Peacock was advised to have them cut off or something.
Yes.
And get stuffed. But the padded bra comes from the Jumbo Juno range. And Mr. Rumbold says she should wear those instead of door knockers.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, Mr. Lucas is sort of brought before Captain Peacock.
Yes, give her dressing down.
But Mr. What's his name?
Granger.
Mr. Granger, thank you, I remember. Points out that Captain Peacock's not got a carnation. He's told in no uncertain terms to go away, and he should do his waistcoat up, and he sort of manages to snap his tape measure around his neck, doesn't he? But it's his own one, so he doesn't have to pay for it. So tough cheese on that department. But yeah, Mr. Lucas is got various things that he's been doing wrong. He's had his hands in his pockets. Yeah. He's had no handkerchief.
Yeah, he's got hair on his
Hairs
collar.
on his collars. I like the thing about if I feel a hair dropping, I'll jump out of the way.
Out the way.
I like that. That was good. But he's basically told he's got to measure up or they dispense with his services.
Yes.
Then Mr. Humphreys is called over for a dressing down as well, isn't he? Yeah, you said, what was it, last Thursday? Oh, don't talk to me about last Thursday. I got me high heels caught in the escalator and all sorts.
And then the Coleman delivered to his mother at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And said he hadn't been given what he was due.
What he was due. Then on Friday, he spent 25 minutes in accounts, talking to somebody there.
About Ramadan.
Yeah. On Saturday, customers complained about his aftershave lotion, which is actually skin tightener.
Yes. It turns an old prune back into a plum.
But yeah, what was it? People prefer an honest prune to somebody who's trying to look like Donny Osmond.
Yes.
So was it Mr. Humphrey says he's never been talked to like that before. He quite enjoyed it.
Yes.
Mr. Harmon appears with a carnation on a cushion.
On a cushion. Yeah. It's a white one.
Well, it's variegated.
Variegated with red edges.
It's got sort of pinky, isn't
Pink,
it?
Yeah.
He's told to sort of go away as well. Then everyone is told to gather round, so he immediately comes back. Not you. But then Mr. Rumbold appears, going on about the decline in efficiency and appearance. The executive red carnation should be worn, not this variegated thing. But yeah, young Mr. Grace is an example.
Yes,
in
he's
terms
always
of his
impeccably
appearance.
dressed.
And then he appears basically dressed as Colonel Sanders almost, isn't it?
Yeah.
He comes on in a white suit and a big white hat.
Yes. Being pushed in his
wheelchair by his nurse. He's been to the USA, so he's saying things like "Howdy, folks."
Yes. Use all.
Yeah.
That's a bit sort of like Morton Deal, doesn't it?
Yeah, right, it's okay.
Use all in a chase.
I can say the first one, can't I? You've all done very swell.
Yes, you can say that one.
Get
Not
away
say
with
the second
that.
one.
Wagons roll, he says.
And he's waving his hat.
Yeah. He doesn't get a lot to do, but it's quite a memorable little scene, isn't it? So they have the meeting afterwards, in the after sort of closing time. Apparently Uri Geller's on the telly. When Mr. Humphreys saw him, he felt something move. And he felt in his pocket, and his door keys were bent double.
Yes.
Mr. Granger wants to get home to see the Bionic Woman.
He does.
I was going to say, sort of Lindsay Wagner's sort of on Who Done It.
She is.
Round about this period, isn't it?
Yes.
It'd be funny if she'd come in. But, she was in a different studio. But he wants Mrs. Granger to see it.
Yes, because she wants her to get a hearing aid.
A hearing aid, because she's not been right since she fell off a bus in Torquay.
You're probably like 1943 or something.
But yeah, young Mr. Grace is advising sort of adopting US techniques
Yes.
of informality.
Yes.
So everyone should be on first name terms, and there should be friendly inter-staff relations. And yes, we get the revelation that Mr. Lucas is called Dick.
Dick, yes. Though earlier on in the series, he seems to have been called James.
So it's definitely earlier, is it?
I believe so, but that might be a misunderstanding. But I mean, where I work, because I work in retail, we're all on first name terms with each other.
I was going to say, you got a badge with your name
well,
on,
yeah, but it's
in
like...
In case you forget who you are. Which does happen.
Yeah, it does. The store manager, his name's Kevin, and we don't call him like Mr. Strowger, what his name is. We call him Kevin or Kev or
Kevy Boy.
I've never called him Kevy Boy.
The Kevster.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Right, all this stuff about carnations and frills on blouses is out of date. They should look like people, not sales people. So there's how you should greet the customers on first name terms. You know, this is Dick, and he'll see if he's got something in your size.
Yes.
You know. They should have background music. Yeah, what was it? Thank you, Claiborne, says Mr. Lucas. They have this thing where they should declare friendship for each other every day.
Every morning. So they
should
come in and
shake hands and look at each other and say, "I like you, Stephen," or "I like you, Cuthbert." Claiborne's almost got tears of joy at this, hasn't he? But yeah, Betty and Shirley have a go at doing it.
Yeah.
Although they only get halfway through it, don't they?
Yes, before Mr. Rumbold interrupts.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cuthbert.
Cuthbert interrupts.
Or Jug Ears.
Or Old Jug Ears, which he likes. I like that.
Through gritted teeth.
Yeah, he's not convinced, is he? But yeah, what was it? Sweet dreams, Cuth, says Claiborne. See you around, Baldy. And now he can speak his mind. He tells Stephen to get stuffed.
Get stuffed, yes.
He's been wanting to say that all day.
Yes.
So next day, well, it's Monday, isn't it? Monday, isn't it?
Yeah.
How's it going, Harry? To Mr. Harmon. So that's got to be ratified. It's still Mr. Harmon at the moment. Yeah. And again, later on, we find out he's not called Harry.
He's called Beverly.
He's called Beverly.
But perhaps he prefers Harry. Beverly's a bit girly, isn't it? So perhaps he prefers Harry.
Now, I leave these next bits to you to describe what they're dressed as.
Okay.
So Miss Brahms and Mr. Lucas come in first.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what Miss Brahms is dressed in.
It's a sort of gold thing.
She's got a sort of gold thing. They're sort of like...
With a sort of open around the bosom, isn't it?
Yes, it's like a sort of quite long neck.
Beads.
She's got beads. Sort of like they're not shorts or hot pants. They're sort of like I want to say pantaloons for some reason, but sort of like short trousers into boots.
Well, they're described as Mick Jagger and Twiggy's mum.
Twiggy's mum.
So what's Mr. Lucas
Mr.
got?
Lucas, why on earth? I know why they've done it. It's for the joke.
Yeah.
But he's got a sort of Bob Dylan cap.
Yeah.
And he's got a sort of denim waistcoat with no shirt underneath and what appears to be a Jim or Fix-It badge.
Yeah.
And sort of jeans.
And a hairy
chest.
chest.
And a hairy chest.
Which comes off.
Which comes off. It's detachable.
Yeah.
Detachable?
Yeah. So he gives it to Shirley.
Yes.
She's not keen on it either. And they're not going to sign in.
No.
They've got to be photographed.
Yeah, so they just stand in front of this box and this camera comes up and flashes in their faces.
It takes a picture of them and the clock.
Looking surprised.
Yeah. Captain Peacock's not here yet. He's gone to the Way Out boutique to be modernised.
Because he came in his normal clothes.
Mr. Granger. What's he got on?
It's like a sort of bowls outfit. He's got a hat and a sort of striped jacket with a white shirt and
really
cravat.
Fit.
Yeah.
Mrs. Granger doesn't believe he's going to work.
No, she thinks he's picked up a what's the word he uses?
He thinks I've pulled.
Pulled, yeah. With the mixed bowls team.
Yeah. Mrs. Slocum. Well, she's fairly normal at first.
Yes.
And then when she's told she could do better. She just sort of undoes it at the back as though it was Velcro.
It's Velcro. She just pulls it off, doesn't she?
Well, I was going to say her hair's green, isn't it?
It is. It's green. That looks more blue in this scene. And then she's got this sort of extraordinary.
What is
I'm
it?
trying to think what the trousers are.
Well, it's
They're almost
multicoloured things on her legs, isn't it?
It's almost like capri pants, but then they're tighter than that.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure the difference between that and pantaloons. I'm going to go with pantaloons because it sounds good.
Okay. Enter Mr. Humphreys.
I think they might be bigger actually, but yeah.
It's sort of green ensemble, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sort of like if you think metallic sort of bluey green. If you think of Elton John,
he's got star sunglasses
in the 70s. That's pretty much what he looks like.
And a T-shirt that says "I'm free." It's all glittery, isn't it?
Yeah, he sort of looks a bit like Elton John. I think that's the impression I get.
Yeah, and then what was it? Enter Captain Peacock, who's been modernised.
Yes. He's been hippified, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got a sort of caftan.
Yes.
And big hair, isn't
sort of
it?
Afro hair.
Yeah.
And he's got his shirt and tie on underneath the caftan.
And Mr. Harmon just stands there with his gob open.
Yeah, he just looks at directly into the camera.
Straight into camera. He can't believe
his eyes.
What you see. What he's seeing. What's that say? Let me.
Again, it's your thing.
Oh, he goes to the phone and says, "Get me Austin Reeves," because he's not happy.
No.
But apparently this seems to be quite successful.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Rumble's on the phone to young Mr. Grace. They've had a very good week.
Yeah.
Young Mr. Grace has come back from the east as well, although we don't quite see. And then the lift goes and enter Geoffrey Holland.
Yeah.
Basically dressed as in Captain Peacock's, but in a different colour.
In a different colour, with no shirt and tie on underneath.
So there's all this peace, man, love.
Yeah.
Got any trousers? Then pant me, man.
Yes.
Strides for the homie with the naff Raya.
Yes.
That's like Julian and Sandy
It is Julian
talk.
and Sandy. It's a little bit of Polari, isn't it? Yeah.
It's not hippie talk. It's
No, it's just a little bit Polari. Well, probably Perry and Croft. Not Croft. Perry and Jimmy Perry. David Croft and
Jeremy Lloyd.
I remember.
No Jimmy Perry.
Oh, Jimmy Perry. Jeremy Lloyd especially is probably quite familiar with Polari, which is, in case you don't know and you've never heard Round the Horn, and if you've not heard Round the Horn, you should listen to Round the Horn, is the language that homosexual men used in the 50s to talk amongst themselves in mixed company.
Because Raya is hair backwards.
Yes.
R-I-A-H.
And homie is man.
Yeah.
And
so forth.
naff is naff.
Anyway. And Mr. Granger complains he hasn't understood a single word for 7 days.
No.
Mrs. Slocum's got a customer. Are you serving? Are you buying? Yes, then I'm serving. My name's Betty.
Yes. She says it like a little girl, doesn't she?
She's very coy, but the lady wants some pantyhose.
Yes, or tights.
Yeah, but call me Betty. What's your name? Was it Cynthia?
Cynthia, Cynthia Rhodes or something.
I like you, Cynthia.
Yeah,
and Cynthia starts backing away at this
and
point.
Runs away.
And just runs up the stairs. Then Mr. Harmon appears with a young Mr. Grace display unit. They've been having teething problems in that the teeth would fall out.
Yes.
So it's like it's a model of Mr. Sort of Grace's sort of upper half, isn't it?
Well, it's his whole body, isn't it?
Well, it's got a hat on, and it's meant to raise its hat and say "Welcome to my store, welcome to my store" when people come out of the lift. So it says the first bit, but doesn't raise its hat. So he sort of fiddles with it, and then it reaches its hat.
And pulls its head off.
And pulls its own head off with the mouth still working. I don't know how. If I designed that, I'd have thought it would have been operated from a thing going up. But it's and I just said that's a bit elaborate for one joke, isn't it?
Yes. A lot of work goes
because we were watching an interview with Matt Irvin, and he was saying that people forget how much visual effects work there is in comedy.
Yeah. People always think that visual effects just do sort of science fiction programs, but he said most of the work came from comedy programs, like entertainment. Yes. Yeah. It's John Horton on this occasion.
But enter young Mr. Grace, who's come back from a visit to Peking.
Yes, and he's dressed as like Chairman Mao.
Yes, and he's given up the Americanisms, but he's got some more ideas which he's written in his little red book,
which he distributes,
which he gives out, and he declares that they've all done very...
Don't say it.
You banned me from saying the last bit of the line, haven't you?
You'll have to watch the episode.
Because it's all a bit...
It's a little... Well, it's not a little bit. It's very racist.
It's extremely...
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, it's not far from his usual catchphrase, is it?
No. It's only a couple of letters
it's
out.
It's only one letter different, but
What about two?
No, because it would be well. Well, I'm spelling it with a Y, not an I-E.
Right, okay.
All right, either one or two letters, depending on you.
Just think of the boots.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
But, yeah. More for sort of visual shock, isn't it, this one? To get them in very silly costumes. And the Captain Peacock costume
is ridiculous, yes.
Because Captain Peacock would just refuse, wouldn't he? I mean, he's not happy, but...
No.
But, you know, he wouldn't even have come in out of the lift wearing that, would he? No. He would have said, but it's not bad.
No.
It's shame there's not more young Mr. Grace in this, because I like his sort of American impression. I'd like to have seen a few more scenes with him doing that, because it is quite funny, I thought. But, yeah, the sort of the whole informality thing is quite fun. So there you go.
Yeah.
What's the next one then?
The next one is The Takeover, which is one of my favourites.
Oh, you like Takeover, don't you?
They all get to do, again, something different.
More acting required, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll say good night and see you again.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.